Hey, good Thursday to you. I'm Storm Team 9 Meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with your ENC Weather update for this October the 3rd, 2013. Lots going on in the weather, not here locally per se. We're just having some hot and dry conditions for now. But in the long range, we're talking about rain chances coming back, and Karen could be one of the culprits to bring those rain chances back to eastern North Carolina. We'll detail that and also look at what Karen is doing and what that frontal boundary is doing here in the update video. All right, let's talk near term real quick. Here's a look at temperatures as we're doing this update. It's 7:30 on this Thursday. 72 at Greenville, 73 down at Havelock, 75 at Emerald Isle, 72 degrees in northwest Onslow County at Richland, 78 degrees at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base over in Goldsboro, 74 in Wilson Rocky Mount, 72 degrees up in Ahoskie, 76 the temperature currently at Edenton. All right, so let's look at the precision forecast model, and to be honest with you, it is a dry scenario. We will not be talking about very much for us over the next 24, 36, 48, 72 hours. All right, it's going to be a fairly dry setup as we still have high pressure and control of our weather pattern. As far as tonight is concerned, expect temperatures lower to middle 60s inland along the coast, middle upper 60s. Could see a few areas of patchy light fog, patchy ground fog in the morning, but nothing too serious. It should be out of there fairly quickly. We'll go with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. It'll be another warm one tomorrow. Heat indices likely right around the 90-degree mark with dew points upwards into the middle and upper 60s. So it's going to feel quite sticky out there. Temperatures middle 80s tomorrow, maybe a few spots touching the upper 80s. For deep inland spots, but mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Nothing too serious through the afternoon hours. Got plans heading out to maybe the Pitt County Fair tomorrow evening, maybe heading to high school football games. It's going to be a little bit on the warm side. Temperatures likely in the upper 70s, low 80s, even at the late 7 o'clock hour tomorrow. So temperatures will be falling eventually down into the 60s, but it's going to be one of those slow falls because we're going to have a little bit of cloud cover here and there tomorrow evening. So the clouds will help to keep the radiation, the sun's heat and energy at the surface for a little bit longer than what we're seeing tonight. We've already seen temperatures fall down, obviously, at Greenville, 72 degrees, and we've only seen the sun be below the horizon for the last 15-20 minutes or so. All right, so let's go out to the Caribbean and also the Gulf of Mexico now. Tropical storm Karen's out there. Here's the current stats: 23.3 north, 88.5 west. That puts it almost due south of Mobile, Alabama at this point. Pressure's at 999 millibars. Winds 65 miles per hour. That's the maximum sustained winds currently. Direction of movement: north-northwest at 12 miles per hour. So it's scoot booting up into the Gulf of Mexico at this point. But it is moving very fast. So that's one thing that's going to help hinder this system as it's making its way off towards the north. Dry air is also going to plague this storm's progress over the next couple of days. See, obviously, a lot of dry air off to the west, dry air off to the east. So basically, it's an alleyway at this point that's going to make this thing go off towards the north. Something that we are going to be watching, obviously, is the trough of low pressure back off to the west. That'll be moving in here as we head into the weekend. And the progression of that trough is something that we're going to be watching for us, because the faster the trough gets in here, the faster it lifts the system up towards the north. Let's look at the forecast fan, and to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. We have a tropical storm watch in effect for from Morgan City, Louisiana to Grand Isle, Louisiana. Hurricane watch in effect from Grand Isle, Louisiana all the way to Destin, Florida. We have a tropical storm watch also in effect from Destin, Florida to Indian Pass, Florida. And there's a tropical storm warning from Grand Isle, Louisiana to the mouth of the Pearl River right at the Mississippi-Louisiana line. These are all until further notice. Here's the look, obviously right now, 65 mile per hour winds. It's going to strengthen or try to strengthen to possibly a Category 1 hurricane as it gets south of Louisiana. And the wind shear associated with this trough of low pressure, and on top of that, the cooler waters just off of the coast, That's going to help this thing start to diminish as it's making its way to the north. But still going to be a fairly strong tropical storm. 70-mile-per-hour winds possibly. This says 2 p.m., but the time on this is actually at 10:42. We'll be right offshore of Fort Morgan, the center of low pressure. I do want to make mention of this. That cone of uncertainty is still great from the Wolf River and the Pearl River all the way over to Fort Walton Beach at this point. There's still a cone of uncertainty there. So within that swath, the center of low pressure could go into. To give you an idea, this storm is going to be very eastern weighted, meaning that all the winds, all the storms, the worst part of the storm will be on the east side of this storm. So the further to the east of this track it goes, if it says, hey, we're going to head up towards, it's going to head up towards Mobile, Alabama. The further east you go, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, talking over towards Destin, Crestview, Milton, that's where we'd see the strongest part of the storm. If it's further to the west, say Biloxi, Waveland, Bay St. Louis, the worst part of the storm would likely be Pascagoula, Mobile, Daphne, Robertsdale, Silver Hill, places like that would get the brunt of the storm at that point. So it's still dependent on the track of where the worst part of this will be. After that, it moves off towards the north, goes over Phoenix City, Alabama, past Atlanta, Georgia, past Greenville, South Carolina. By Monday afternoon, we're talking about a tropical depression or the remnants of the system just to the west, to the north and east rather, of Charlotte, North Carolina. What this will mean for us here in eastern North Carolina: rainfall, also the potential for severe weather, because we'll have an inland track of this low pressure system. It's something we're obviously going to be watching over the next 24 hours to 36 hours to get this tracking down. And the modeling starting to come a little better into agreement. Still a wide range of the models, obviously, but for us, we are expecting heavy rainfall, especially for Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Monday night. And that's when we're going to see the worst part of the storm for us. But like I said, it's going to be remnants of this system, and we're not going to be watching for sustained winds 30, 40, 50 miles per hour, but the potential for severe weather with the turning of the winds with this low pressure system is definitely going to be there. Here's a look at our precision forecast model. High pressure in control right now. You see the low pressure associated with Karen coming up towards the north. Here comes the cold front, all right? This has got the low pressure system coming up towards Pensacola, Florida, all right? Cold front makes its way past Jackson, Mississippi, basically bisecting the state of Mississippi up through West Tennessee. And this is going to help progress Karen off towards the north and east at this point. So there is still a little uncertainty. Obviously, I've shown you the track and the potential there and what our model is saying here. The GFS further to the west, to the east of this, comes up towards Apalachicola. The Canadian model closer to Mobile landing. And the European model basically has this thing getting absorbed before it gets into the Gulf Coast. So at any rate, expect heavy rainfall with this along the Gulf Coast. And for us, this thing's going to make its way off towards the north, as I was saying. The cold front's going to help it shift off towards the north and the east, and we're going to be watching for strong storms here. And behind all this, you got Karen down here in the Gulf. Then look at this big plunge of cooler air on the way. But does it all get to eastern North Carolina? That was the issue the other day. We were watching this and wondering, hey, is all this cooler air actually going to make its way into eastern North Carolina? Because yesterday the modeling had all the colder air lifting northward, north of the area, and we were going to stay in the warm sector the next couple of days. But it does look like at least some of the cooler air is going to be able to make its way into eastern North Carolina. So temperatures will be able to go back into the 70s. Once we get out of the 80s Friday and Saturday, as well as Sunday and Monday, best rain chance on Monday. More than likely, we say 50% chance right now. That is more so a confidence level than an actual coverage area. If it does come our way, more than likely we're going to see about a 80 to 90% chance for rain that day. High temperature, somewhere around the upper 70s, low 80s on Monday. We will be watching for strong to potentially severe storms that afternoon. That's something that we will have to watch for with that low pressure track, especially if it's inland or if it's defined. The defined low pressure system inland would mean a track for severe weather potentially for us. So something we'll watch. We could still have some showers and thunderstorms lingering into Tuesday as well as Wednesday, and then finally starting to dry out as we head towards Thursday. But you see the temperatures finally falling back into the middle 70s, more typical for this time of the year. That'll do it for me here on the ENC Weather Update. Stay up to date with us on Facebook as well as Twitter and on WNCT.com. Next update here by tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. I'm in for Chief Meteorologist David Sawyer for tomorrow. He's in tonight, CW at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, right back on WNCT. Dante Jones in tomorrow morning at 5 to 7. And like I said, I'll be in tomorrow evening for all the shows. For the evening shows on Friday. You guys have a great rest of your evening, a great day tomorrow, and a great weather week ahead.